Meadville Lombard is our historic seminary. It wasn't always in Chicago, but it's been here for more than a minute. And its history is entangled with the history of First Unitarian Church. And it has been the greatest producer, along with our one other seminary, Star King on the West Coast, greatest producer of extraordinary Unitarian leaders for as long as we can remember. Elias has come to that leadership in this past decade and has brought a transformative character to the place, one that is committed to investment in the community that surrounds it, one that is committed to evolving theological education into one that reflects the pluralism and genius of our movement. He is a scholar of ethics and theology in his own right, in addition to his leadership role. We are fortunate to have him here. For those of you who don't know the history, for a very long time, Meadville Lombard was across the street from us. And so this was the natural place. When I went to school here, and I went next door to Chicago, but there used to always be, I guess it was Wednesday night Vespers up here in Hull Chapel, and the students would come and lead worship here. The students would come and do all kinds of things here. So in my return to Chicago and the chances to talk to Elias, I say, how can we spark new kinds of cooperation? And I say, we have this house of experimentation. You know, the house is paid for, which is wonderful. No mortgage on this place. And we have vastness and rooms, and they're looking to be filled with energy and light and teaching. And so I'm hoping we're going to see lots of partnership opportunities. Last year we partnered on General Assembly. Next year we partner as we return to being a teaching congregation with Dr. Emily Mace coming here as our ministerial intern. We have long been the site of Meadville's annual convocation, and so we celebrate the new students, and that will happen again this year, I think, in May. So it gives you a sense of one of our most important partnerships. I will try to give you an idea to spotlight in this place our relationships, because in so many ways our relationships make us who we are. Our relationships make us who we are. And so I might even see if we can get those relationships posted on the wall, like those corporate walls. We're so pleased with our sponsors. We're not tapping them for any money today. But I like to say, who are we in relationship with? And I'm going to keep calling that out to you. And we are in relationship with teaching institutions that are making the next generation of leaders. And so with that, my friends, I welcome you here. We are a pluralistic people. We come from many traditions. We come from many different journeys. But on this day, I want you to know you are welcome here, whether you have stepped into this church for the first time or the 1,000th time. Some of you, it's thousands of times here today. Whether you believe in God all the time, none of the time, or some of the time, you are welcome here. No matter your race, your background, who you love, how much money you have or do not have, you are welcome here. So let us commence. I have a few announcements for you today, particularly plugs for things coming up. We have two initiatives around supporting new neighbors. And so this is refugee support, migrant support, and supporting actually some longtime neighbors who are economically vulnerable. One of those is our partnership with La Tiendita, which means small store, over on the other side of Washington Park. That is at the Coppin Community Center of the Coppin AME Church. And we will be working tomorrow, Monday from 4 to 6. This is upstairs in partnership with the Chicago Food Depository. Whoops, another partner on the wall. And the AME Church, another partner on the wall. We'll be doing food distribution, and that is tons of fun. And as I say, that's neighbors, new, old, although if you can speak Spanish and know all the food words, that's real helpful and fun. And if you don't know Spanish and you're working on learning your food words as I am, then that's fun too. And then downstairs, it's housewares, clothing, still coats and things. But really, getting houses set up is really important. You can also bring donations. And I really want to emphasize our specialty, not in clothes in this place, but in bowls, spoons, everything that would go into a kitchen to get set up. Anything in your kitchen that you have extra of, you can come by at 4 tomorrow and drop it off. Today, JT, can you rise up? Raise your fist in the air in a sign of defiant excellent. That's JT. JT's a new member this year and awesome. And JT's got a sign up. And the first sign up is a commitment to be there tomorrow from 4 to 6. And we could use about 8 people. We'll do about 3 people up and about 5 people down to cover the different areas and checking people in. And he'll start passing that. The second thing that's on this list is we have a new initiative starting. We're forming a good neighbor team working with World Relief International. Boom, another partner on the wall. To welcome, we have 16 new families in Hyde Park who do in fact have housing. And before the taps were turned off, don't get me started on that, had refugee resettlement money. And what we will bring is a 6-month partnership where a team of us, between 5 and 12 of us, will be in relationship with a family, at least one family, likely about 5 or more people, getting them settled here, and everything from getting jobs to getting ID cards to getting the mixer I was just talking about. Everything on your wedding list is needed when they come into a new apartment. The apartments are our friends at Mac Properties, boom, another partner at the wall, who have made these apartments available at 54th and Ellis. So that's real close to us. So we're going to be in relationship on this good neighbor team. You go ahead and pass it. You can, shame people, and you just stand there like the people with the collection plate, like look serious. I'm joking, but if you have interest in that latter one, meaning being part of a good neighbor team and developing a relationship with a family or two over these 6 months, put your interest down there because I'll send it to you, because that requires some activities, including registration, background checks, and things to make sure we have a committed and safe team to work with a family of all ages. And I'm super excited about that. I will be sending you information on that so we form a committed core team. And again, if you have Spanish, that'd be great because, and again, I don't, and I am enthusiastically in, so don't let it be a deterrent, but there's a special opportunity there to be a bridging partner. The families we're getting will be particularly coming, many Venezuelan folks in that 16 is what I got, and all Spanish speaking because the ones who are other languages are going to the north side. Thank you. That was important to me, so I appreciate you letting me take the time. Let us now turn together to the lighting of our chalice. I would like to ask Liz Kreslin to light our chalice today. And I would invite all of you to read our covenant, which is printed in the order of service. We'll read it together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Please rise in body or spirit for the singing of our opening song. I will sing the line, and then you may respond, and you will be backed up by our lovely choir. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where sing at your own speed. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Life has made a place for you where everything is new. Life has made a place for you where everything is new. Thank you. You may be seated and our worship will continue.
I call us to worship on many days by drawing us attention to why it is we worship and intoning that Middle English notion that to worship is to lift up that which is worthy. We come here to attend to the worthy things in our lives. So just like I'll point out the partnership wall to be, our relationships are worthy in our lives. That's what we're lifting up. Another thing that we often say in the Unitarian tradition is that curiosity of mind is a worthy thing. An open mind is a worthy thing. A mind that is receptive no matter your age. If you're 7 and sitting here wondering how long I'm going to talk, or 77 and sitting here and wondering how long I'm going to talk. See, we're united in some things. Our mind is open and there's still much to learn, much to realize, much to discover. Do not be fixed in all things in your mind because you are yet to be surprised by things that will change your life. Case in point, Dr. Ortega. He's going to lay a word on us. It's going to change your life. I encourage you to open yourself to it. Open yourself to it. Okay, having said that, this is also notably the last day of Black History Month. I grew up with, I think, Black History Month. I have memories of that. And I didn't understand the weight and importance of it at the time. It was a time of year we talked about George Washington Carver, is my memory of it. Not to belittle my wonderful multicultural elementary school, but I didn't understand the breadth and depth. And I think many of us take it for granted, have taken it for granted because it has been a fixture in our cultural location. And then I woke up this month, and as Google is changing the names on the maps, it's changing the dates on the calendar, and things are being deleted. And as we got to the latter part of this month, and I was learning that Black History Month is in the process of being deleted, I said, we have a prophetic purpose, as small as it is to say, no, it is not. No, it is not. Not in this house. Because as politics change, as the seas toss our culture about, we are a house of memory, and we are keeper of tradition, and we are keeper of commitments. And those things are worthy. And so today, I want to just say this word. I want to call us to worship by attuning to the commitments we have inside that do not change according to the winds. And so I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth today, right? Keep this totally open mind, but do not let it be too open, because you know some things, and do not let people come and tell you the things that you know to be true are false, or tell you the things that serve us as a people, lift us up, energize us, call us together, and give us the fuel for what is ahead are not worthy. We are the keeper of what we know. Today, the text I brought for us to meditate on, and I'll post it up somewhere, this is from Rosa Parks. She says, I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. And so, in an unusual turn today, I say, lift up inside, what are the things about which your mind is made up? Decided, closed case. It's okay to be 7 years old, you know some things. Do not let people sway you of the things that you know in your heart. It is okay on this day, 97 years old, and we have 97-year-olds on the camera, as Am says, camera to the right, that you know some things. And so on this day, let us have our minds made up about the things that matter most. Let us build our house upon rock and not upon sand. Those commitments are the rock this house is built on. You are the rock this house is built on. My friends, come. Let us bring that which is worthy within us, and let us worship together.
Our centering hymn will be number 168 in the gray hymnal. That's number 168, One More Step. Please rise in body or spirit for the singing. One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard for everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
I have a conversation for all of us today, so you can actually stay where you are. We're thinking about, it says on your order of service, what does it mean to belong? And I wonder if maybe just one person or maybe two people have an idea in your mind of what does it mean to belong? Do you have an idea? Would you like to share?
It's like if you're in one place and you think you belong there.
That you're in a place and you think you belong there. Does one more person have something to add? Anyone have something to add about what does it mean to belong? And what does it mean to belong at church? What does it mean to belong here in a place like this?
When you feel safe, seen, and supported.
Feeling safe, seen, and supported in a place like this.
Comfort, adding comfort.
Safe, seen, supported, comfortable. One more. This is the last one.
I'm sorry, I was going to say safe.
Safe, feeling seen, recognized, supported, comfortable, belonging in a place. When sometimes you just walk into a place and you kind of, something inside you knows that like the vibes are just right, you just fit, you belong. Sometimes you stay in that place and then it comes to mean even more to belong. You have memories with those people, with that place. And then it becomes your job and your privilege to do the special thing of welcoming new people to that place. What's it like to have been at the school long enough that you know how to tell someone how to get to the water fountain? No, it's over there. Oh, that teacher really likes strawberries, so bring those for Teacher Appreciation Day. You can introduce somebody around to other folks who you know when you belong. We welcome people in to the places where we belong, and we come to care about those places, and we commit ourselves to taking care of them. And so I'm super excited with Reverend Dave and with Bobby that we actually have the opportunity as people who belong here with you all to welcome some new people in today.
Now we're going to do our welcoming ceremony. We have 6 new members today who we are celebrating and embracing. And I'm going to turn it over to Bobby, and as she calls your name, rise up and come, as we say, called forward on the carpet. And we have some things to say to you.
Zel Tenorio. Kian Tariq Aladeen. Chad Akers and Johnny Barona. Lauren Shemansky and Robert Abildano.
And just for fun, tell us who was greeting at the front door this morning.
Greeting at the front door this morning were brand new members from our last Welcome Sunday. Alex Hernandez and Max Burgess.
You mean you could be a brand new member and volunteer to do something in the church? That's hard to believe. That is awesome. JT, wait, aren't you a brand new member? And aren't you taking pictures right here in the church? Anyway, church coming to life is a source of joy to all of us. The new life that comes in transforms who we are. I think that's one of the things that makes this church different. A lot of churches will talk about the way we're going to change, the way we're going to empty you out, fill you up with the good stuff, get you on the proper road. We believe you came with the good stuff, and you're going to transform us, lift us up, and surprise us by who we become. You are an extraordinary group. I feel blessed to have come to know you the little bit that I have so far, and look forward to these coming years together. May they be a blessing upon each of us in this room that we come to live, to serve, and to love together. It's what we do. It's what we do. So here, I have a question. First, I'm going to ask them a question. So I'm going to turn my back to you. Don't be afraid. And then, after their affirmation, I'm going to ask the members of this congregation a question. And you will affirm your commitment to them. Then we will wildly cheer long enough for us to extend the right hands of friendship, give hugs as appropriate, and get them back to their seats. So get ready for that. My friends, you have all already signified your commitment to this congregation through your presence, through your commitment to learning the history and practices and theology of this place. You have committed yourself to the project of the Unitarian Church, First Unitarian Church of Chicago. Your time, your talent, your treasure, indeed, you have already committed. We have already signed the documents in another room. So I ask you a more personal question. Do you promise at this time to bring your whole self to this place? To be real, to be vulnerable, to be joyful when you are joyful, to be sad when you are sad, to let us see you, to tell us what it takes to be safe, to be seen, and to be brought to life in the ways you feel called to be brought to life. Do you promise to help us grow into who we can be as we return the same unto you? If so, please say together with vigor, with verve, and with volume, we do. We do. All right, your job is done. I would ask you, if you are a card-carrying official, you're sure, member of this congregation, to rise in body or in spirit. And if you want to make your spirit visible, you can raise your hand too. You can raise your hand too. Okay. Now, do those of you who are members of this congregation, whether it is for 6 months or 60 years, promise to love, honor, and support these new members in good times and in bad? Where have you heard that before? What kind of marriage have you gotten into? Do you promise to offer your heart, to be genuine, to be kind, most of all, to be kind, and to show the way to live a faithful life through your actions as well as your words to these new members of our family? If so, please say, we do. We do. Woo! We welcome you to this church. May our life together be long and filled with the surprises of the best sort. Please join me in welcoming new members of our family. You gotta keep going. You gotta cover it. Now we're going to send those who are going off to class. Follow Ms. Breslin. She will take you. The rest of you, I invite you to take a minute, greet your neighbor, say a word of peace and encouragement, and know that after church you're going to have a chance to say welcome to all the new members. I'm going to actually get out of the way because I want to receive them. Let me take a look at what's happening next. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's why that was my joke too. This is the most extraordinary word you will ever hear. This will change your life. What the heck? I was just talking about clean water. After joys and sorrows, I'm going to possess. Then you do the reading. Before we take up our offering, I wanted to, it's our way to regather the people with Benny and the Jets. So I give the honorary pair of glasses to Dr. Ortega so he may take them back to Meadville. Tell him how we roll here. This month, this is the last Sunday of our month on inclusion. We chose as our partner for sharing this month the ACLU of Illinois in order to fuel their important work, which for some reason has expanded enormously over the past couple months. We're looking into why that is, but we're investing in the work they're doing on the behalf of the rights of individuals, especially those who are marginalized. In the coming month, next week, we begin sharing with the Abortion Fund of Chicago, which invests in creating access to health care for women, particularly coming from settings where they otherwise would not have it. This work, too, has exploded in necessity and in volume, and this coming month was, I want to thank Ellie for proposing this group, which was approved by our committee. So today's offering will now be gratefully received. I feel grateful for the world-class music in this place. I mean, it's sort of unbelievable. It's sort of unbelievable. Thank you for the gift, everybody behind me, and Adam, especially for your leadership. We share joys and sorrows with each other as a regular practice, I hope not just in these few minutes. But today, let me lift up a few. The first from Ellie Hall. Lisa Rogers has been a wonderful member of the Green Sanctuary Committee. I'm sorry that she is leaving Chicago soon and moving to Denver, called by her work and necessity of pursuing that work. Lisa, thank you for your service here, and may you bring blessings to Denver as well. A sorrow. My friend with end-stage Parkinson's and recurrent breast cancer suffered her last on Monday, passed away on Monday. Our heart is with you. Our hearts are with you in this time of grief and for her family. I know who this is, and this is a person who was by her bedside and was accompanied her friend in that last stage. Blessings upon that work, and those of you who do it anonymously so often. A word out to all of our members who are at home, healing, recovering, or in times of gentle peace. A word to Lynn O'Rear, having this stage of her journey in peace at home with her family, including her niece Riva by her bedside, taking care. She is so grateful for all the expressions of love she is receiving still at the bedside. If you want to send a message, send it by text to her. Riva has her phone, and we'll share those with her. A shout out to Earl, who is at home and recovering and growing stronger. We had to reschedule. Earl was going to lead one of our meditations with one of my most favorite Langston Hughes pieces, and so you will find that in about a month, I think, gracing our worship. We have time, because I don't want to squeeze the sermon, for maybe a couple. Does anyone have an important joy or sorrow that should be given some light today? Just raise your hand and I'll run at you. Behind me, behind me.
I have a joy. My family and friends are here for my recital tonight, and I'm very happy that they are here to support me, and I love them very much.
And say your name.
My name is Andrea. I have a sorrow. My mother has like a confirmed dementia diagnosis. So those of you who are familiar with dementia, it's like very grateful to have this diagnosis, but definitely a deep sorrow.
We get everybody back here. For all of the joys and the sorrows and the things that don't quite fit in either of those categories, the things that are on our hearts, let us make space for them. Let us have the courage to share them, and let us have the compassion to respond to them in all the ways we can. Maybe so, and amen.
Tell the truth, but tell it slant, by Emily Dickinson. Tell the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies, too bright for our infirm delight. The truth, superb surprise, as lightning to the children ease with explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, for every person will be blind.
So for those of you who are sitting out there and thinking, man, I would really love to sing in a choir, but I'm not a very good singer, I would like you to know of that group, I believe at least 5 of them have told me they are not good singers. So if you are not a good singer, please come talk to me.
Good morning. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to occupy this pulpit this morning, and I'm grateful to Reverend Messner for this invitation. Where are you? Oh, there you are. I'm really grateful not only for the invitation, but also for the conversations that we have been having over the last few months, in which you have shared about the ministry, right, of this congregation, the ministry that you are all doing together as a faith community in this Hyde Park neighborhood. And it is my hope that the words that I will share with you today not only inspire you, but hopefully also strengthen you for the journey that we face over the coming years. We are living through peculiar times, and if we are more truthful about our current moment, considering the great risk threatening our Republican democracy, the perils that endanger our Earth, and the shifting political climate globally, we need to declare that we are living through unprecedented times. In our times, we are not only experiencing the recycling of all threats against values dear to us as a liberal religious community, and our liberal Republican democracy. Those values we can name like compassion, justice, equity, and love. And we're also facing new ones. It would seem that these values, those values that have animated social change and lifted up life possibilities, however flawed and unfulfilled our commitment to them have been. These have been values that have made possible our mutual flourishing, are now not declarations and commitments, but instead they're being open to question, to debate, and to be redefined. To whom does our compassion extend? Who we comfort and who we preserve? How do we live out justice? And what justice do we owe one another? What kind of justice? Is there a price to be paid to receive justice? Will there be justice at all for us? Or just for those who will say, just us? Will the arduous justice work done at great cost by those who came before us in the pursuit of equity to affirm how we live, who we love, and how we defined our thriving become unraveled before our eyes, forcing us to discern and labor yet again to define and stake a claim for what equity means for us, for our children, and for their children. Will peace continue to be a dream deferred, leaving us instead to wade through a waking nightmare of foreclosed possibilities, heightened anxiety of how and to what to respond on ongoing attacks in every direction? The truth that we must tell each other, all the truth and which lands, and to the world in which we live, will define how generations to come will face the world. For me, and I hope that you do as well, I hold firm to the conviction that the message of universalism, as it did yesterday, matters today. And the work that we do in tending to it as stewards of this tradition will matter for generations to come. I join the words of Universalist minister, the late Reverend Gordon McKenna, who said the following: "We can take and use or violate and abuse our heritage, but we cannot simply drop it. It is ours, irrevocably. Our heritage includes an insistence upon greater breadth, greater understanding, and a generosity of spirit. It is in that spirit and in the humble acknowledgement that while we may not always have been the best stewards of our theological inheritance, it is irrevocably ours to nourish, to tend, to articulate anew so that we can breathe new life in times when the shadow of deathling forces are knocking at our doors. Our tending to our tradition will be a gift to those who will follow us, and they will pick up the work that we have left undone. We are part of this life, and when our work comes to an end, others will continue. But that time is not now. We have meaningful and life-preserving, life-affirming work ahead. So to me, to answer any of the questions that I have raised above, to whom our compassion will extend, what justice do we owe one another, who do we love and how, and can peace be the theater in which our lives unfolds, require us to mobilize the resources of our shared living tradition, our shared Unitarian Universalist faith, and to make it large and expansive tent. And I hope that you will as well be of good courage and find both the prophetic needle and the pastoral thread to weave the transformative and life-sustaining work of our tradition in the lives of the communities that you live in and that you serve, and that people to whom you belong and to whom you consider yourself accountable to. Personally, I believe this work can take as a starting guide the greater love at the center of our Universalist heritage. And again, as Reverend Gordon McKinnon reminds us, Universalism began by assuming that God is love. And if God be love, he would surely never condemn any of his children to an eternal suffering in hell. That was the beginning of Universalism. And again, he's thinking of the origins of our tradition. So you can redefine and translate God as love, however your understanding is suited for. I also bring the words of Universalist ministers and suffragette Olympia Brown, when she said that we can never make the world safe for democracy by fighting. Rather, by showing the power of justice done to each humble individual, shall we be able to create a firm state and a basis for our state. Recently, the Article 2 of the Unitarian Universalist Association Bylaws and Principles and Purposes was revised, as we know. This revision entrusts us to tend to our inheritance through a series of shared values. These are values of interconnected and inseparable from one another, and call us to work on understanding and acting in ways that will bear witness that love is the power that holds us together. And it is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living these values through the spiritual discipline that is love. There are deep power in those words. It is a prophetic understanding that the separate strands of our lives will be weaved together by the power of a great love, a love that calls us into accountable relationship with one another, with our communities, and our witness to our shared values under the discipline of love to a world in need. It is inspired by these learnings and growings of such spiritual discipline that we are to live in courage in the work of upholding what justice means to us. How do we understand our independence to one another? To whom our generosity of spirits, of money extend? What is the nature of the contour of our pluralism? How do we lift up the work of equity and who it is included? And how does the transformation center around love looks like? This is a radical task, and it requires that each one of us, you and me, take ownership of the work that we must do. These values invite us to renew and strengthen not only our covenants, but more anew, rethink again of our covenant, not as practices against one another, but instead as radical love acts for one another. These covenantal practices invite us to embrace our differences and commonalities with deep curiosity, to thrive to radical inclusion, to work toward the dismantling of those oppressive structures that truncate our mutual thriving, to renew our democratic practices in how we govern our actions in our country, and to recognize that we are not a perfect picture. We are not a perfect community, but instead we are in the path of greater wholeness. We are in the road of being perfected. And this perfection unfolds through our interdependence, because it is only then that we can flourish together. The provisions of this Article 2, for me, is also a call to tend to our inheritance anew, for us, for our children, and for their children, so that the message of acceptance, compassion, and transformation that brought us to seek the illumination of the flaming chalice continue to reverberate through the world. It is a message that should beckon us, and as it beckons others before us, to tend to it. And in the words of Olympia Brown, yet again, we shall speak the language of universal love, and it will be heard, and the message will be carried far and wide. Now, this message will carry far and wide if we help carry it forward through our willing disposition to hold to what is truth, to the judicious use of the power available to us, to our courageous mobilization of the means to preserve our lives, through our investment of our time on behalf of those who are yet to come. For us, this starts with telling us hard truth. What is the legacy that we aim to leave behind? How will we be remembered? What stories will others say about our actions and witness in days such as the one we are living today? Because our faith matters, how we live our days matter. It is important for us to give measure and careful consideration to what we turn our attention to, because it matters not only for us, but for our children and for their children. In human relationship, truth-telling stands as a powerful gesture, and one that summons a profound responsibility, as we are the ones that act to one another. That is to say that any act of truth, any truth-telling, should draw us to the idea of justice. We imagine scenarios where correcting a factual error may become a linchpin in a sequence of events that fosters fairness and equity as we advocate for ourselves and for others. We dream of a world where the very act of living in truth unfurls new horizons, new visions of what a just world can be, if we but only have an honest relationship with the demands of change brought about by being called in by truth. Yet there is another dimension of truth-telling to be considered, and is one that beckons us to embrace hospitality. It is an invitation not only to see the world with clear eyes, but to hold spells for others to join us in that clarity. We must tell all the truth, but with a slant. What are the truths that need saying? In today's fast-paced digital age, the act of speaking one truth has allowed many to speak publicly. There are occasions that call for such happenings in the face of grave injustice and harm. Yet such digital spaces also make it easier to be separated from the relational work and the repair that is needed. We can share our opinions and our truth with the swiftness of a click. But do we pause to consider what may be those rippling effects that our typed words may have on others and ourselves? Was that a truth better shared sitting across from a table? Speaking truth isn't just about making a statement. It is an ethical act. It is an act that nudges towards justice, and simultaneously, it is a deeply relational act. It grounds us in the shared reality of our human experience. When we share our truth, we are not only making a statement, we're also forging or severing bonds. Sometimes those bonds call us into unity. Sometimes those bonds pull us into accountable relationship. Sometimes those bonds call us to repair. And other times, yes, we set boundaries. But always, we are being drawn into deeper responsibility toward one another, for one another. So then we must really reflect, how do we speak the truth that needs to be said in our times with compassion? A real challenge lies in the articulation of truth wrapped in compassion. It is one thing to point out a wrong, and entirely another one to do so with empathy. This is a bridge that connects truth-telling with hospitality. When we approach our truth with a compassionate heart, we lay the groundwork for a dialogue, a mutual exploration of realities and perspectives. And after truth are spoken, how do we enter and remain in sacred community? Many faith traditions define the sacred as liminal spaces, thin veils separating the known from the unknown, the ordinary from the extraordinary. When we step into these spaces, we are stepping into the unknown. There are times when truth we share can shatter our existing frameworks, and our times can be such times. But they can also pave the way for profound transformation, to remain in our sacred community after truth-tellings, where the unknown and the extraordinary may erupt the current time. In such liminal spaces, the truth can set us free to new ways of being together, for one another, with one another. The truth-telling is a journey. It's a journey that calls us to lean in our faith communities, fortified by our mutual bonds of trust and compassion. As we venture into the depth of this journey, may we always remember to approach our truth with a hospitable heart that forges path of understanding and unity in our world so deeply divided. Now I'll invite you to imagine for a moment standing as you're able on a bridge that stretches from the distant past to the unforeseeable future, and uncharted terrains that beckon us to thread in hope. The planks beneath your feet are stories, those told by our ancestors and also by us. These stories are not just tales, no. They are also not merely recounting of events. They are more than that. They are the profound lessons that we have learned, the dreams we have dreamed, and the distilled wisdom of ages. Each story is unique, a seed of sword that can seed hope when planted in our collected imagining. For this reason, it is not just the story of triumphs that lay that bridge. There are stories that are painful and raw and challenging memories. They are also important. As such, these stories will serve as acts of remembrance, and in their telling, we call hope forth. It is a hope that binds the past with the present into the future. And this morning, as we work to resist all hatred that are coming alive again, and new threats to our way of life, I offer to us the idea that holding to such hope today should be a deeply felt belief, even if it is a quiet affirmation that despite today's challenges, a brighter tomorrow awaits. When our stories plant those seeds of hope, may they be the ground in which our heart and the testament for others to believe be written. Seeding hope, it is an act of courage, especially when the future seems uncertain. Every gardener knows that in the process of planting seeds is as rewarding as the harvest. It requires vision, patience, and above all, faith. The faith that even if we do not see the tree grow to its full height, the shade it may provide someday will benefit generations to come. So I urge you today to embrace your story, to embrace our tradition's story, both the joyful and the painful ones, so that we can tend to lay this bridge that stretches from the past, that covers the present, that will also illuminate generations to come. Let us seed hope with vigor and this unwavering belief that a possible bounty for tomorrow is the work that we are doing today. For in these acts, we are not only shaping our destiny, but also leaving behind a legacy of resilience, compassion, and boundless hope for future generations, because our faith matters. How we live our days today will matter. It will matter for us. It will matter for their children. And this is why we sing, circle round for freedom, circle round for peace. For all of us in prison, circle for release. Circle for the planet and circle for each soul. For the children of our children, let's keep the circle whole. May it be so, and blessed be.
Our closing hymn today is number 155. 155 in your gray hymnal, Circle Round for Freedom. And we're going to do it in a call and response, so I'm going to start and then you'll respond. Circle round for freedom, circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole, keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep
the circle home. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle home.
In the embrace of this moment, we choose to come together as seekers, journeyers, and believers in the power of truth-telling. Spirit of life, of love and truth, of all that is sacred, we recognize the profound responsibility we bear when we voice our truth. May the interplay of justice and faith guide us to always step forward in the larger truth, challenging yet illuminating our path. May it be so. Blessed be. Go forth in peace.
Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Of course, you're all invited to coffee hour, and I invite you, as you come through, to have a chance to say a word to Dr. Ortega. And you can go ahead and talk now. Beautiful music made you quiet.